Dun, 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 dun. Hold on here. There we go. Morning, everybody. Let's do this. Let's go do what we do. So, look, we got a little bit of gap up in the QQQ so far. Nothing too crazy, but for the most part, you know, we're getting a little action to the upside. Yesterday was a mixed bag. You know, we gapped up, we filled the gap, but that's just what we were doing, is right. We're just stuck in a little bit of a range while the market flags out. That's totally fine. These are the levels we want to watch. If this gap holds and we start pushing into yesterday's highs, you know, that may take us out of this flag also, which will get us back to, you know, that old top of the range, which is about 166. You know, if we don't, and we fade the gap, then we got to watch yesterday's lows, right? And see if that's where the support comes into the market. When you're inside a range, you've got to kind of trade around what the different options would be in the range, if that makes sense. So once the levels start to break, then you can get progressively more aggressive to the upside or downside. And you got to just kind of play around with that. But, you know, if we start coming out of this flag here on the daily, you know, that could take us, you know, to 166 and then 170. And so we do have some potential upside. And frankly, we just had the one nasty day, right? We just had the one nasty day. We didn't have necessarily anything other than that. So that's going to be good to go. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, Dream, how you doing? Good morning, Miss Amy. Good. Same thing with the SPY. We're gapping up a little bit. Now we're pulling back. We'll have to watch yesterday's lows and then this high. If not, we're just going to chop around in a range. And if we're chopping around in the range, then it's just going to be, man, it's going to be a little bit dicey. But that just is what it is for now. Now, the good thing is there are quite a few earnings plays out there that will move irregardless to, irregardless to what else is happening, you know, in the market. So just be kind of, we'll be cool with that. So check out, we got TXT. This one's coming out of two different levels here. So you got a base breakout, you're breaking over these MAs. And now you got to fill it into this suction zone over here. That's going to be really, really important. I just use the 9 EMA because I find it works. Nothing, too crazy. Nothing scientific, man. Trading is just trial and error. Find out what other people are doing, steal it, and then adapt it to your own. XLN. So this one's actually breaking out the high. So when you get a stock that's like busting out to all-time highs like this is on earnings, especially in a market that's been choppy, that's actually really bullish. The float on it's about 252 million shares. This thing can move, and because it is going to all-time highs, all the dips on it back to the breakout spots should get supported. So we'll be watching this one for an ORB at the open or a quick pullback buy. But later on, as you're getting deeper pullbacks, we'll definitely keep an eye on this one. Probably my two favorites for today is this MKC. Number one, you're breaking out of this bear flag over here, and then you're also busting out under this 200 SMA. That's going to give it some good, that's going to give it some juice. Now, it's already down a lot. Ideally, we kind of get a quick pop at the open and then roll over, but we may not get it the way this thing's already been trending down. I like this one a lot. CTXC is also on watch for potential short at the open on ORB or quick pullback buy. Now, we've tried to short this on a couple earnings plays before, and it moved really so-so. So I'm going to give this like a B, B minus. Only from memory. The chart says it's fine. Like this should be on watch list for a potential short. But we've had, we've tried this a couple times now. And frankly, it's just not, it does not work as well as you would think. I'd give that a B minus. We'll keep it on watch, but nothing too crazy. PTC now. See this one? You got 1 test, 2 tests. Now this thing is coming back for a third. You got a lot of airspace underneath. 104 million share float, so it should be able to move fairly well. Your range on it's already like $10, which I really like. I think this one, man, I'd be cool with this one to have a little goose in the gander, a little party over here. There are a few others on the gapper list, like BGG, that you could add that are a little bit smaller of nature, like BGG, CTL, that should work fine. Usually when I'm, playing these little gapper shorts, some of the big, $50 to $80 stocks just have a little bit better range in general. But like even something like this BGG, this can ORB. I mean, its float's tiny, and it's breaking down this low over here. Like, this thing could get dusted, today. So I'd actually, I'd watch it. But PTC, MKC, I think are going to be my faves. On the upside, you could add this LXRX if you want. But I think TXT and LXNX are the 2 best ones on the upside. There's a few other ones that are kind of popping around, but nothing that I found that was too special. Hey, Irvin, you know what? The easy money in PCG, the short has been made in PCG. So, I mean, where can it go now? I'd say the easy money's been over, and right, I mean, the range is tiny on it now. The other thing is, it's like, most of the PCG money has been made on the shorts on these 2 gaps. Like the intraday, this day, and this day, the intraday was fine. But the rest of the intradays were untradeable. So this is, to me, is not really, I'm not trying to short this thing, I don't think. It's just grinding, right? But the range is so tiny, like, I don't know. You're going to have a lot of short squeezes. The whole float is probably short, so I'm kind of giving that a 50-50. I could see people getting stuck in a giant squeeze on this at some point, or it could just go to 0. We don't necessarily know. Yeah, BB, I think that one's a good one. That's the top of the list for me. Good, good. Hey, Timmy, how you doing, buddy? Sweet. Let's take a look at the regular watches. So we got still Roku on watch for a flag breakout. The range is super tight on this. When you get a tight range, at some point it's going to bust loose. It's more a matter of just when, right? And the problem is always happens is that, sometimes you got to try these things like a few times before it goes. Like if you're trying to take day trades and you're inside the range, what happens is you get a spike up and then you get a spike down. You'll get a spike up, you get a spike down, you get a spike up, you get a spike down. So what you got to think about, like when you're trading, like say a flag pattern that's stuck in a range, is look at your 30-minute or hourly chart. Start to see where the angles are. So like what happens is if you get mini spikes inside the range, then it's not going to hold. What usually needs to happen is the larger term flag on your 30-minute or hourly needs to break, and then the dips and the breakouts and everything hold. But if you start to do it inside the range, they don't follow through. And then what happens is you get a little spike up and you get excited, you see a little consolidation, you're thinking, woo, right? You get all pumped up and then it just comes dying back down. So really check, right, the big longer term range. This excess is hot to trot here. Got a flag pattern, 9 EMA curls for the girls. Definitely is breaking out, close to highs over here. I just ignore this little nub that's sticking out there. We'll pretend. Sometimes in technical analysis, what you have to do, you take an eraser to your chart and just pretend like it didn't exist. CLVS still looking real tight on this. The only question is, right, if you just try to intraday trade it while it's stuck inside the flag, it's not going to go, right? So you got to let this thing just break, and then you can take the day trades in it. But if you take the day trades in it before it breaks, what's going to happen? Right? It's going to get dusted. So let's trade well today. I'm going to try to make this a short one, right? Let's try to go 11 o'clock, nothing more, nothing less if we can. Y'all ready to roll, people? Let's go make some money.